up, y'all? It's your girl Sharita. I wanted to talk to y'all tonight because um, I received a call and an email from Jazzy's school about the reopening of school, the plan, right, for this year. Um, I have a different plan for Jazzy's school, coming from Jazzy's school, than my client has for her daughter. Okay, so basically, what I got in the email was that I can choose to do virtual learning for remote learning for Jazzy to learn from home instead of going into the school. Hey, Leisha, what's up, sister? What's up, girl? Talking about starting school this year and some tips if moms are going to be homeschooling. So that's basically, I heard, Alicia, I got from the school that she can do remote learning. That's an option, right? And but when I talked to my client, she said that she got a different message from her daughter's school, that they're going to be doing 3 days in and 2 days off, and then 2 days in school and then 2 days off or at home, right? So I know all of us, we are nervous, you know what I mean? We're worried. We've been quarantined for a long time. Some moms are just choosing to homeschool their kids, right? Hey, Auntie. It's my Aunt Ann. Love ya. Right? And that's what I would have done, okay? Because people don't have stuff together out there. And I know someone close to me, her mother passed away from COVID-19, and she really shouldn't have. You know what I mean? So it is nerve-wracking. So if they said we're going to be opening schools and it's going to be this 3 days on and 2 days off and all that other stuff, I would have just said homeschool. We're just going to homeschool, right? So I know there are a lot of moms that are deciding to homeschool their kids. I have 8 tips that I want to share with y'all that will hopefully will help you this year while you're homeschooling, whether you're homeschooling for the first time ever. I was there because I homeschooled some of Jasmine's education. I homeschooled her, and some of Jasmine's education, she was in public school, right? So whether you're homeschooling for the first time or you've been homeschooling this whole time during the quarantine anyway, so you're like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? That might be your situation as well, right? I'm going to give you some tips that's going to help you. Now, my tips come from personal experience as a mom, and then also professional experience as a special education teacher. When I was working with students, my students had behavior challenges and disorders, right? So this could apply with any situation. All right, so number 1 tip that I wish I would have had somebody tell me when I first started homeschooling. Hello, Juanica, welcome. Because professionally, I say this all the time, professionally I had this down pat, but when I was a mother, I was always overcompensating, doing too much. You know what I mean? I was a total different person. So the number 1 tip I'm going to give you out tonight is to remember that taking care of yourself is just as important as your child's education. All right? If taking care of yourself and you being happy during this process is just as important as your child's education. Now, this is your first time homeschooling for the whole year, and you are overcompensated like me, right? Like I was. I wanted to be the best teacher ever. I wanted to make sure she had the best education ever. I was going all in, but I was not thinking about myself or taking care of myself. That is a sure way for you to burn out. That is a sure way for your kids to be like, party, you know what I'm saying? I'm home, so I don't really have to do this. This is different. For you to be able to survive that transition, and for your children to get the most out of it, learning at home, they should get a better learning experience at home than they actually would have in the classroom. You know what I mean? You have to take care of yourself, and you have to make sure that you are happy. So that's number 1. Before you even dive into that, take some time, Write down some things for your own self-care. I love writing down things that I need to do to take care of myself, or goals that I want to achieve and all that stuff. What's important to you that you want to make sure that you stay focused on while you are wearing this extra hat? You know, moms, how we love to wear a whole bunch of hats, right? So that make sure that you don't forget that. Number 2. Oh, this is awesome. Set everything up so that homeschooling runs smoothly, and equip your kids to do most of it on their own. Okay? Equip them to do most of it on their own. And what I mean by that is, with kids, there's no limit to how much kids can learn when they're hands-on and in a leadership position. Okay? So you have the curriculum, you have certain things that you're supposed to be learning, right? And you set up the structure like that. But don't do all the work. You know what I mean? Give your kids jobs and have them be in front and standing up and teaching themselves, teaching their brothers and sisters. Each one have a chance to stand up and teach, even if they are young. You know what I mean? Their own version, own way of doing things. You know what I mean? And give them their input. Have them do most of it. If you have a subject that you are studying and you have and you want to do a project, have your child come up with the project. Have them come up with it and start brainstorming and figuring out how they want to carry the project out and how it relates to the subject that you're going to be teaching, right? When I was a special education teacher, I was sitting down a lot, y'all. My kids was up. They were up at the board. When it was time to do math, they were up at the board doing math, and I had some chalk back then, you know what I mean? And then we went to dry erase boards, but I still love chalk. I'm such a nerd. I love it, right? And I would draw a line down, lines down, like separating the board. And then I would send them up in pairs, you know what I mean? And somebody would be the leader, and somebody would come up with a math problem for the other one to solve. And they would do all the work. And then I would just get up and walk around like, very nice. And I'll ask them questions and stuff like that. And then they'll switch. You know what I mean? So when kids are in the leadership position and creatively coming up with the lesson, you know what I mean? They learn so much more. And they're more invested in it. Do you really want to be teaching and fighting for them to be paying attention to you while you're teaching, or do you want them to be taking an active role and leading and learning faster and coming up with more problems and questions? Okay, that's the question you want to ask yourself. Welcome, Crystal and Tiffany. Thank you for joining me. The next tip, number 3, you gotta do this. Have fun. Be excited. Be curious. Be yourself. Okay? One of the best things about my experience when I was teaching, and still when I teach now, is my personality showing through. I'm not like, I'm a teacher and a teacher has to be a certain way. I'm teaching, we're moving fast. They know they gotta keep up with me, right? But if something's funny, I'll laugh. If I want to make a joke, I'll laugh about it. You know what I'm saying? If I want to bust out in the song, 'cause that's what me and Jazzy and Maya do all day long up in here. If something reminds me of a song, I want to make up a song on the spot, then I do that. And the kids be dancing with me, and we do it now over Zoom, but we be dancing and having a good time together. And believe it or not, we are actually spelling words while we're doing that. You know what I mean? We are actually coming up with ways to remember how to spell a word, or remember, you know, I before E except after C. You know, we learned that we growing up, but we got some beat to it. You know what I'm saying? So your own personality, whatever your kids know you as, you know, and they have fun with you, bring that in. You know what I mean? Bring that in. Learning, grow. I always say that growth is unlimited, right? There's no limit to how much a child will grow when the proper things are put in place, and you just let them grow. But that's the same when it comes to learning. Learning is unlimited too, so don't put yourself in a box. All right. And also focus on excellence in your don't make excuses while you're teaching your child. We do that a lot nowadays, and that bothers me. That's like my pet peeve, because our kids are so much capable of so much more than we actually think they are. You know what I mean? So don't make excuses for them. Expect excellence all the time, and always encourage your child. Give them a high five when they accomplish something, and always push them to the next level. Always encourage them to do more. And if they conquer a word, throw a more challenging word. You celebrate with them, dance, whatever you need to do. Throw another challenging word at them, you know? And me, I be talking junk. I'm like, I don't think y'all ready for this. You ready for this? I don't know if you're going to get this word. They be talking junk. I'm going to get this word. Tell me the word. I'm about to tear that word up. You know what I mean, right? So always be challenging your word. And that way, you're going to create a growth and achievement environment in your home. Always growing, always achieving, always winning, always focusing on being a champion, on conquering things and going to the next level. Next, number 4. Should have numbered these. This is very important. As a matter of fact, you probably need to do this from jump, like before you even get started. You know what I mean? So that the kids understand. Your kids might, with the homeschool, because they're so used to you taking care of them and nurturing them, they might be feeling like you are going to be doing this for them. That you're homeschooling and you're going to make everything, you're going to work hard and create everything for them, and you're going to make things easy for them, and you're going to find easy ways for them to learn, and you're going to find, they be coming in with the wrong mindset. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that in the beginning, welcome Terry, thank you for joining. You got to make sure that in the beginning, you set up the structure, the rules, right? The consequences and rewards. You set that up you got to be like, this is how it's going to go. Okay? Make sure you have a routine in place. Make sure that they know what time to do. Now, a lot of people with homeschooling, they leave it very open. And to me, when I'm teaching and I'm really into it, I might go over the time limit, and we might, because if you're really growing, your child is really growing and really they're just about to get a word that they had a hard time getting, or they just about to answer a question that you see them searching for, sticking to the time is not appropriate, because what's most important is your child learning. You know what I mean? But if you go over, then the next activity, next lesson should end on time so that you can keep the structure. Kids need structure, okay? So it's very important for them to have this structure in place so that everything's not all over the place, and they can have more self-control. They have what I call a self-party. That's self-control, self-discipline, self-awareness, self-accountability, right? But that won't happen if you don't put a structure in place in the beginning. So you have to let them know what time things are supposed to start, the schedule, what they need to do to be ready. They better be ready at this time with this, you know what I mean? Make sure you put that structure in place. Make sure, especially if your child has behavior challenges, right? And in mom language, we just say they be acting up, right? Okay? Okay? So if your child be acting up, especially when it's time to do work, then they need to know the consequences up front. You know what that does? That separates you from the responsibility of their behavior and their consequence. A lot of times, kids be having us as a buffer between themselves, their actions, and the consequences. So when you say the consequences right off the bat, you understand your child's behavior, what they might try to do to be slick while you're doing homeschool, right? So you put you say the consequences up front, you say the rules up front, you know what I mean? They know the routines, right? And they know the rewards for doing well. And it's imperative that you make sure it's down on some type of paper. It could be on a paper, it could be on a poster board, it could be on a dry erase board, up. Just make sure it's up and visible. One of the biggest mistakes I think that some teachers make is having rules up in the classroom, and they're just up, and the kids are not aware of them all the time. The best way to make sure they're aware of them is before. This is what I did in the classroom. Before we get started, have one of the students read the rules in front of everybody, right? And have the class actually read the rules with them. So the way that I taught them first was I would read the first part of the rule, and then I would go like this, and the class would read the next part of the last part of the rule. Then when I assigned a student to do it, they were doing the same thing. So every day you're setting the tone every single day for how things are going to go, the rules that you're going to be following, and then the consequences and rewards are up too. So what happens if your child is acting up during when it's time to do homework, when it's time to do work? They're acting up. The reason they're acting up, there'll be two reasons. One, if they are not used to working independently, they're always getting help, and they are not reading on grade level. They're ill-equipped, right? So that may be one of the problems. If that's the case, then you really got to work with them to make sure that they get up to grade level, get everything they need. The other reason is they may be trying to get on your nerves. Let's keep it real, right? You know what I'm saying, Terry? They may be trying to get on your nerves. We know about this, but our kids, it's something that they don't want to do. They know the quickest way to stall or to get out of it is to drive us crazy and to get on our nerves so that we stop what we're doing, and next thing you know, we are next to them and we are fussing at them, and we are trying to get them focused, and we are snatching a pencil from them because they're writing too sloppy, and we trying to fix it and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, your child is sitting there like, yeah, this is what I wanted. Now I'm not doing it. Mom's doing it. You understand what I'm saying? So by you having certain rules that you set up, and by you having the consequences already there and the rewards, you just stick to the schedule. You just keep it moving. And when your child starts to act up, you just focus on what you need to do. But they know at the end, then they're going to get a consequence for their behavior. They already know what it is. So you want your child to have the self-party, like I said, but be able to self-regulate. And that's much better than you working so hard to get your child to sit down, get your child to look at their paper, get your child to focus and do their work, you know what I mean, and all that other stuff. And best believe, I always say this, if you're doing all that at home with your child, doing homework, best believe that that's what's happening in the classroom too. We don't want that. We want our kids to function independently, all right? All right, next, one of my favorite things right here. Start a word wall in your house, okay? I started a word wall for Jazzy Jazz when she was 3. Like, I turned my whole dining room into her little school. And we were learning every day. She was having school at home, and she knew how to read and write and do math before she went to preschool. A word wall is so powerful. It's like when a child sits down with you, and you work with the child during that time, they're absorbing information, they are learning, but then when you leave, their brain still goes, they still learn, there's still growth. However, if every time they get up, they see words that they're working on, you read it. You know what I'm saying? And that means that their learning is continuous. So the words that my students now, I'm having them write down words that they're working on with me on a post-it note and post it on the wall. They're making their own little collage on the wall. And when we first start, after we go over how the call is going to go, they read those words. They just be, you know what I mean? Those words were difficult for them a couple days ago. Now they just blasting through them. So have your the word wall up. Words that your child is working on. Words that while you are working with them, helping them read, and then some difficult words come up that they couldn't read the first time, write them down. Have them put them on the word wall, because if they don't know them now, they will know them. Okay, that's my motto. If you don't know it now, you will know it. Okay, so make sure you do that. Have them decorate that wall, the word wall. But the trick is to make sure it's visible to them somewhere they when they open their eyes in the morning, they can see it. Or when they get ready to walk out the room, before they go open the door, the words are there. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, when y'all sitting down at the table, there could be words on the refrigerator. I had them all over the place, y'all. I did. Is that Maya down there hollering? I swear it said we have a neighbor who has a child that sounds just like Maya when she start hollering. So we be in the house like, is that Maya or is it that the little girl across the street? We hear somebody hollering. We gotta look and check because that girl sounds just like my child. But sound like it's all right now. Dad's in there. All right. So word wall in your house. Have it rocking out. You know what I'm saying? And that's another way to create a learning environment in your home. Learning is not just happening at school. Learning is continuous. So they should always be surrounded by that's learning, things that they're supposed to be learning, and that's how growth is unlimited. It just keeps going. You have no control over it. You don't know when your child is going to get this word down pat. Just put it up and have it happen naturally. All right, my next one. Have your kids build a bookcase and start a library. Okay? So whatever you want your bookcase to look like, it could be an actual bookcase, you know, in Jazzy's room, like a bookcase, or it could be the ones in the little kindergarten classrooms, you know what I mean? Depending on how old your child is, that's what Maya has in her room. But them helping to build it, okay? That's leadership, creativity, and ownership. When your child's taking ownership of the process, then they are going to value the books that go in there even more because they were part of creating this bookcase, you know. And thankful for me that my husband's very good. I am not. But Jazzy and Maya both love to work with their hands and build things. So that worked out pretty good. They be getting stuff before I get it. You know what I'm saying? I got a new broom that came from Amazon because I love shopping from Amazon, right? And it came, the dustpan had 3 pieces, and I opened it, and Maya had the whole thing assembled in seriously 10 seconds. Like, I just was watching her like, how you know where everything goes? All right, if your child has strengths, you better put them to work, all right? All right? This one right here is for you. This one's right for you, okay? So while you're working, you're thinking about what I'm going to do for the kids and make sure this is set up and make sure that's. So you know how we do, moms, right? We make sure everything is set up and everything. You have to have an oasis. You have to have some time just for you. All right? So this one is take lots of hot baths, okay? And do things that make you happy. Remember that list I told you about in the beginning, right? So the reason I put this kind of put this again, I want to zero in on a hot bath thing. This is when no kids are awake, all right? The kids are in the bed. You have time. It's not something you're doing that you want to go in there and you're like, all right, now sit down. I'm trying to take a bath in here, right? No. What I'm talking about is the kids are asleep and you get the bathroom the way you want it. You put whatever you want in the tub that's going to relax you, make you feel good. I love lavender. Sometimes I put eucalyptus in there as well. Sometimes I throw some honey in there. Sometimes I throw some cocoa in there. Whatever be in my cabinet, y'all, put in there, right? Light some candles. You can play some music if you want to. Sometimes I play music. Sometimes I watch a movie on my phone. You know, sometimes I read a book, but it's quiet. You need to be able to de-stress from the day. You need to be able to rejuvenate. And this is just time for you. That what I've learned, because the first 10 years of being a mom, I never did anything for myself. Never. It was really difficult to take care of and pamper myself. I was always either working or jazzy. And what I learned is while you can have the mindset of, I want to make sure my kids have everything. I'm going to focus on my kids and anything my kids need and everything. You're not really making sure your kids have everything. You know what I mean? And when I say everything, it just means like you want to be the best mom. You want to take good care of them, and you just keep sacrificing yourself to take care of and give your kids the best. You're not giving your kids the best because you're not taking care of yourself. But when you take care of yourself, take that time to take care of yourself. When you go back to join your kids now, you're like, oh, hey, baby, you know, and you're happy and you're brighter and you feel good. Your energy is so good. and you have so much extra love to give them and so much extra energy, which for me, a sister about to be 40 years old in a couple of weeks with a 3-year-old, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not dropping it like it's hot. I'm dropping it like it's heavy at this time, okay? So for me to have energy to keep up with Maya, you know, then I really have to take care of myself. So do not neglect yourself while you're doing this, and make sure that you carve out time, whatever is your time. It may be early in the morning. Sometimes that's my time too, like to work and stuff in peace. It may be early in the morning, or it may be at night, you know, to just be yourself, so that when you go in the next day, if you have some challenges during some behavior challenges that your child that is going through, or some literacy challenges that you got to really work hard during, while you're teaching them, because they are far behind, that's temporary. Tell yourself that's temporary. That's only what's going on right now, right? When you get there, you'll be better able to stay on track. You'll have a better energy. You'll stay on a routine. When the consequence, you can let their consequence be their consequence, instead of letting them get you to the point where you hollering about to pull your hair out. You know what I'm saying? Because you done took care of yourself. And the last one, ladies, this one might be my favorite. And this one comes straight from when I was a special education teacher. All right? This is what you want to do. You want to have your darlings prepare for and clean up after each lesson. You want to have them have a routine set in place. So if it's time for math, they are getting all the math materials. They know exactly how to place the math material, so that when you are ready to teach, everything you need is right there. And when they are ready to work, everything they need is right there. You want to teach your child. This is going to help them when we eventually get back in the classroom, right? This is going to help them with their focus stamina, right? That's what I call focus stamina, how long they can focus on a task without getting distracted by the environment, or distracting everyone else in the environment, because that's what kids be doing, right? That's going to help them with that. If they have something to focus on for excellence, to make sure everything is straight, make sure they set everything up. And then when it's done, make sure they clean everything up. Do not be up there running around trying to make sure everything is there, plus telling them to sit down at the same time. Plus, after you finish, you tired, you ready to go on to the next lesson, you have to clean up, and they all over the place because they waiting for you to get ready for the next lesson. You know what I'm saying? No. Give them work to do. Have them be a leader, and have it run like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? Time to clean up. When it's, all right, so 5 minutes. I'm going to walk in the kitchen. When I come back, then I expect this, and this to be done. And then just walk away. Do not stop and say, did you hear me? Make sure. Do you have everything ready? What you supposed to have? No, you go over that a couple of times. But after that, you just expect it, and then you just move. And then when you come back, you start the lesson like it's already there. Because that's what you expect. Okay? Okay, now I got to give you a bonus. All right? I just gave you the 8. Now I got to give you the bonus. Have high expectations always. I don't care where your child is. I don't care if your child is struggling academically because they're missing pieces of their literacy foundation. I don't care if they are in special education. I don't care if they have a lot of behaviors. I don't care if they are unfocused. They are distracted, right? Because they can develop focus stamina. You know what I'm saying? And whatever the story is that they have in their minds right now about why they're not doing their work, it is just that. It's a story. So do not let your child say, I can't focus, or I'm just distracted, or it's too hard, or I don't know this. Do not let them talk like that. Make sure they're talking like a winner, like a champion. I got this. I'm gonna get it. Like I'm gonna work on this, and I'm gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that they have that. And the only way they're going to develop that champion mindset is if you have that champion mindset. If you're telling them, you got this. No. You don't talk like that. Say, I got this. No. You can do it. Just look at it. Point to the word and look at it. You understand? If they're like looking all over the place, like, I can't focus. Point to the word. Look at it. What does it say? Get them to focus. Make sure you hold them accountable. The reason why we may have low expectations for our kids is because we're scared that they can't do better. To be honest, if you have low expectations, if you're telling yourself that he can't, if you're saying those things, saying those words, and you're saying it around your child, that's your belief. It's not reality. You know what I'm saying? If your child's struggling right now, it's not your child's potential. It's just where they are right now. And that can easily change. So always have high expectations for your child. Always encourage your child or expect your child to keep reaching higher. If your child submits some work to you and it's sloppy and you see they didn't really work at it the next day, or if they just didn't do what they're supposed to do, then when it's time for them to play, here you go. Okay? Do it over, and this time I want it neat. You know? That's what I do with my students, with my kids, and also with, well, Maya's 3 years old. She gonna learn. Okay? And also my special education, when I was in the classroom, I used to be like, what did you eat this for breakfast? No. Here you go. Go back and make sure it's neat, and then bring it to me. I need it neat. Okay? So always have high expectations. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I want to share this because, like you, I'm a little nervous about school starting. Well, not anymore. I was nervous about if they were going to say, come back to school. They're in school for 3 days and then they're home for 2. I know some schools are doing that, but I'm not. I wasn't too happy with that. I wasn't going to be happy with that. So I'm glad that they're doing remote learning. But while we're doing remote learning, and we're going to be doing remote, if you decide to homeschool, you decide to do remote learning for the whole year, set yourself up in the beginning. Set your children up in the beginning. It may be tough in the beginning. They may drive you crazy in the beginning, but understand that that is normal. They're just trying to see if this is going to last, if this structure is going to last, if you're going to do what you say you're going to do. How long can I do X, Y, Z before mommy just start hollering because she's tired? You know what I mean? Kids are smart. Our kids are smart, okay? Lynette says, thanks for the tips. You're welcome, Lynette, and thank you so much for joining me. All right, ladies, moms, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful night and enjoy the school year with your children, your precious children. I love being a mother, and I know y'all do too. Have a great night, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.